Sometimes in your past, I have a special word for you today. What is a broken spirit? Because Proverbs 18:14 says, the human spirit can endure in sickness, but a crushed spirit, who can bear? What's this text saying to me is that we human beings can support a lot of things physically, but spiritually or internally, when you have to deal with some things, sometimes could be unbearable. We human beings are obsessed with the idea that our happiness is determined by our external circumstances. That our happiness is completely determined by whether our body is healthy or not, whether our appearance, our body looks good, whether we have money, whether people are treating us right. But the Bible says, no, it has nothing to do with your circumstances. Apostle Paul's prayers for the churches he's writing in the New Testament letters are amazing when you consider when he's writing to all these churches. He's writing to the churches that were in great difficulty and straits. He's writing to the churches that were persecuted. He's writing to the churches that where civil magistrates had broken in and pulled off some of the Christian families to jail. Whenever he prays, he never says, I'm praying that civil magistrates won't come in and take any more of you to jail. He doesn't pray for protection. He doesn't pray against suffering. He doesn't pray against, fights or strugglings that they had with the authorities. Here is what Apostle Paul prays. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 17. He says, I pray that out of his glorious riches, God may strengthen you with power through his Spirit in your inmost being. What he's saying is this, and for me is very important. If your life is all broken, all things around you are broken, all things are wrong, but your spirit is strong and powerful, you move out into the world in strength. But if everything about your life is going fine, all the circumstances are fine, but your spirit is crushed, you move out into the world in sickness. Do you believe this? Can you believe that you can have everything, your circumstances to be perfect, but your spirit to be crushed? Is it possible? I want to offer you today 6 reasons for a crushed spirit, or 6 aspects of a crushed spirit. And I hope until 30 minutes past 12 to finish this sermon, and if I don't, please someone from the audience to tell me, Pastor, you talk too much. It's time to get to the conclusions. First reason, a crushed spirit may have a physical aspect. Can you understand this? Can you believe this? A crushed spirit, our spirit, can have a physical aspect. How is that possible? Proverbs 14 verse 30 says, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. In other translations, it is written not envy, but passions. It literally means that a hot feeling, or bitterness, or envy, or fear, or something like that, leads to physical unhealth in all kinds of ways. Disintegration, deterioration, and so on. But the vice versa is possible too. Bodily weakness can lead us to emotional unhealth. If you're worried, if you're not eating right, if you got chemical imbalances, the physical aspects in our body can influence our spirit. For example, I had and I still have a thyroid problem. You know what the thyroid is? It's that gland here in front of our neck. It's in shape of a butterfly. And my problem was that this little thing, this little gland, produced 8 times more thyroid hormone than normal. I was very agitated. My hands were trembling all the time. Every organ in my body was working faster, 60% faster. My heart, when I was laying in the bed, was beating 140, 150 times per minute. It was a hell. It was a mess. I didn't know what was that. I lost 20 kilos, not in a healthy way. Now I put them back, maybe more, but in those conditions, I lost 24 kilos actually, because the lever was working too fast, I was speaking faster, I was agitated, I couldn't sleep at night, because my body was put in this excellent, with brackets, fast way or fast mode. I had too much thyroid hormone, but the doctor said that if I had not enough thyroid hormone, then I was going eventually to want to kill myself because I was depressed. The ones who have more thyroid hormone are very agitated, but the ones who have less thyroid hormone, they enter in a depressed state or spirit. So, negative thoughts will influence our physical body, but our physical body can influence our spirit. It's important what we eat, what we drink, what chemicals we are putting in our body, because those physical aspects can influence our spirit. And our relation with God is created not through our body, but through our spirit. But how can I have a qualitative relationship with God if my spirit is not broken, but affected by physical aspects? The second aspect is an emotional relational aspect. Proverbs 12 verse 25 says, anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up. Sometimes you need an outside word of love, of kindness. You need eating support sometimes. You don't need medicine. It's not something physical. You don't need therapy. You don't need an answer. You don't need complicated reflections. All you need sometimes is love. And if you don't have that kind of love, your spirit can be broken. Because we have this emotional, relational aspect of our spirit. Look around you. Maybe there is someone around you who needs a word of appreciation, or a good word, and you can lift his spirit up. Maybe he's broken now, but with a word of compassion, you can lift that spirit up. Maybe someone could say, yes, Pastor, but they did me so much wrong. They were so mean to me. That's why I'm upset. That's why my spirit is broken. Because of them, because their word, because there weren't good words, there were bad words. My advice for you is this: they hurt you once. Don't let them hurt you more. Again and again and again. You should let it go. The words, like they come, they should. We should leave them go. The third aspect. So it is a physical aspect of a broken spirit. It's an emotional relation aspect. The third one is very important for us as Adventists. It's a moral aspect. You can have your spirit broken because our moral or ethical aspects. Let me explain myself. Proverbs 28 verse 1. The wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. It's talking about conscience here. It's talking about guilt. It's talking about what can go wrong inside your spirit if you know you're not living right. If you know you're not living up to the standards. It doesn't say you flee when someone pursues. You flee when no one pursues. Guilt generalizes a sense that there is something wrong with you. Just generalizes so you not only feel guilty for some things you also feel guilty before, but you also can't help feeling guilty for all kinds of things that you shouldn't feel guilty for. This is what guilt does. Sometimes we believe that we don't deserve to be blessed because we sin so more. We sin so much in the past. We've done so many mistakes. We have so many sins. And we live inferior sometimes. Sometimes people around us tell us, you're not that good. You're a bad Christian. You're a bad child. You're not that talented. You don't have that good personality. You are ugly. You are poor. You are too tall. You are too short. You are too skinny. If the wind blows, you're gonna fly. You're too fat. We have to clean the room for you. You're coming from the end of the world. Or you're coming from that bad part of the world. Or you're coming from the third world. And we believe that. We believe that. And that's why sometimes we can have our spirit broken because we believe everything is happening inside our spirit, inside our mind. The guilt is created there. If you want to heal your broken spirit, you must clear out the negativity in your life or around you. You have enough people in your life against you. Don't be against yourself. Don't be against yourself. Don't say another negative word about you, because it is not true. The fourth aspect, so we'll be talking about the physical aspect, the emotional relational aspect, the moral aspect, or the ethical one, the consciousness. The fourth one, we can have a broken spirit due to an existential aspect, and I want to stay a little more here. Because it's about us again, about our church, about our atmosphere between us. Proverbs 14:13 says, even in laughter the heart may ache, and rejoicing may end in grief. It's a kind of hypocrisy here, isn't it? So your life is all broken inside, but when you come here, everything is good. It's like that parrot, he knew only 2 words. It's very good, or a few words. And when his master asked him, how is it today? It's very good. When the master asked him anything else, he knew only these words. It's very good. And someday the cat put its claws on him, and it was a mess with her, how do you call them? The skin of the parrot. Feathers, sorry. It was a mess with him, and he was asked by his master, how is it today? What did he respond? It's okay,
Very good.
because everything is good, because there were the only words that he knew, or he knew. Even in laughter, the heart may ache, and rejoicing may end in grief. Maybe sometimes our spirit is broken, but our face is so bright, so smiling. Hebrew commentators say that we must realize that there is an existential angst that comes down deep under everything. And I'm going to give you 3 lies that the deceiver or the devil can pour over you, and you can have a broken spirit if you believe him. First lie, it's about our existence. Yeah? The aspect is an existential one. First lie, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. Imagine that your partner, your spouse, your boss, your church, your family tells you you're not good enough. Imagine the damaging power of these words. You're not good enough. When Prophet Samuel came to anoint one of Jesse's sons to be the next king of Israel, Jesse, the father, David's father, thought, it's not about David. It's not David. He's too young. He's too small. He's not that talented. It can't be him. And David felt the sting of his own father not believing in him. It's one thing when a friend discounts you. It's one thing when a co-worker puts you down. But when your own family, someone that should be there for you all the time, speak defeat in front of you, tell you how you're not that talented, tell you how you're not so fitable for that position, that you can't accomplish that dream. Those words go directly to the heart, and you can have a broken spirit. Sometimes we long for people's affirmation, for our family to cheer us on, a friend to encourage us, but sometimes it's just the opposite. You are longing for someone to tell you a good word, but you don't have that person. The second lie, you don't have this or you don't have that. So the first lie, our existence that Satan could deliver us, is you are not good enough. The second lie, you don't have this or you don't have that. This is very important nowadays, especially for young people. If you don't have that thing, you're a failure. If you don't have this thing, you can't be a part of our group. You must have this thing if you want to be a part of our gang, of our group. Have you ever told yourself, if I only had this, I would be happier? Or, if I only had that, I would be better? Or, I'm so sad because I don't have that. I have a broken spirit because I don't have this. When David faced Goliath, he had only one slingshot. It didn't look pretty much, but a slingshot with God's favor is more than all the weapons in the world. The history proved this. When Goliath saw David, he started laughing. Who do you think that I am? Do you think that I'm a dog? Am I a dog for you? You're coming with a slingshot? Look at me. And he was right. Goliath didn't lie when he started pouring in David's heart everything that he has, and he was. Look at my weapons, David. Look at my experience in the battlefield. Look at my armor. Look at my spear. Look at my shield. Look how tall am I. Look at my genes. Do you know my family? Do you know what's the family I come from? And who are you, David? And really, who are you? You're just a kid. You're just a child. Maybe you're innocent. That's the only good thing that I can say about you. You're innocent. In other words, you're stupid. You're too short. What are you doing here? You have no one of your family beside you. You are alone here with such an experienced fighter. David, you are a nobody. And the best decision for you today is to live, to save your life. What David did, he was deaf to all around him and to all the things that Goliath said to him. Sometimes we must be deaf. We must be deaf to those who try to put us down. And the third lie, your life is meaningless. This is a very big or important issue nowadays because people are trying to find meaning for their life. They try to find a purpose. Imagine that most of you came here in the United Kingdom with a purpose. You came here to do something. You left your country. You left your family. You left everything you built there and came here with a purpose. And in life, when you realize that your purpose is almost untouchable, you can have a broken spirit. It's an existential problem. And the devil comes and tells us, your life is meaningless. It's meaningless. There are 8 billions on this planet, and you are one of them. Your life is nothing. And imagine that everything your heart wants in life eventually will be taken away from you. Your health will be taken away from you. Your loved ones, your children, your spouse, your parents, the ones you love the most, there will be a day when they will be taken away from you. Everything you've worked so hard and you loved so much will be taken away from you. Try not to think about this existential problem, and you can't. You know that there is a ground note of sadness and loss in everything you have. The world around us is filled with people who say, well, I don't believe I was created. I believe I'm here by accident. This life is all that I have. I'm just having fun while I'm here. Someday I will die. I'm just one of the billions of people, an insignificant one. But what does it mean? Unless you have some way of dealing philosophically with this reality, unless you have some way of ascribing meaning to the daily things that you do. Imagine everything you do daily. If you don't have a way to ascribe meaning to that thing, it is pretty hard sometimes. You are going to have this grounded sadness. That underneath all your laughter, or your face, or interface, you're going to be sad. Because you know that all joy eventually ends in grief. That's a philosophical problem. So we can have our spirit broken by a physical aspect, an emotional relational aspect, a moral aspect, an existential aspect. We have 2 more aspects. The 5th one is a faith aspect. Proverbs 13:12 says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. That word burning means a desire from the depths of your personality. When your heart has been set on something, and in that moment, if he performed a miracle, everyone would say, yeah, you. And Jesus said again, I don't need possessions, I don't need performance, I don't need popularity to feel myself valuable, because I know who I am. A lot of people are living in an approval mode. You know how it is. They can't feel good about themselves unless they prove to people they are important. You have to prove to your spouse that you are important. You have to prove your coworker that you are talented. You have to prove your teachers that you are a smart guy or girl. You have to prove your critics that you are really good in what you're doing. But if you're living in an approval mode, you are in a danger of ending up having a broken spirit. Because doing so, it's like living in a treadmill. You know what's a treadmill? It's spinning, 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 never stops. As soon as you prove to one person that you are okay, you will see somebody else you need to impress. And the cycle repeats again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. I want to ask you, where is your faith based on? Because if you don't put your faith in a correct place, you can end up having a broken spirit. Is it based on performance? Is it based on possessions? Is it based on popularity? Imagine that in a blink of an eye, in half of a second, everything can be taken away from you. And if you put your faith in those things who can disappear all the time, and when it happens, you will have a broken spirit. This kind of broken spirit is healed so hard. Maybe it's the hardest way to heal a broken spirit. When you put your faith in something, all your faith you put in something, that thing disappears or taken away from you, and you have a broken spirit. The sixth one and the last one, an epistemological aspect. Proverbs 16 verse 2 says, all a person's ways seem pure to them, but motives are weighed by the Lord. Sometimes we hear about from those around us that they don't understand us. Sometimes my wife is telling me or told me, I don't understand you. What was in your thinking? What was in your head? How could you do this? And sometimes I stay in front of the mirror and I'm talking to the guy in front of the mirror or from the mirror, and they are talking to each other and they are telling each other that they don't understand each other. Sometimes I don't understand myself. But all a person's way, maybe it seems pure to me or to them, motives are weighed only by the Lord. There is nobody in this world who can understand me better than God can understand. And listen carefully, because it's very important for us. If God is somebody you believe in only because he's your parents' God, if God is just an abstraction, or just an illusion, or just an idea, it's lovely, this idea. God is just an idea of good, an idea of bad. But it's just an idea. If God is not your personal friend, if God is not someone you have a personal relationship with, if God is not an intimate, personal friend, let me tell you that you are utterly alone in this world. This kind of aloneness is unbearable for human spirits. When you realize in this world that you are alone, moreover, you don't understand yourself, you can feel a brokenness of your spirit, and it's so hard to go out from that state of being. I think this is the worst situation when you can have your spirit broken. You are absolutely alone in the world, and human beings can't live in this kind of isolation. He is the only one who can walk with you through every life. He is the only one who can fully understand you. He is the only one who can feel that emptiness in our heart. If you don't have him as a personal friend, you have nothing. We discussed about 6 ways how or why we can have our spirit broken or crushed. And for the next 3 minutes maximum, I want to discuss about how hard it is to heal a crushed spirit. Because we've seen that a crushed spirit may have a physical aspect, may have an emotional relational aspect, may have a moral aspect, may have an existential aspect, may have a faith aspect, or an epistemological aspect regarding knowing, understanding your condition or your existence. How hard it is to heal a broken spirit. Proverbs 13:12 says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." The tree of life. The tree of life is mentioned 3 times in the book of Proverbs, and only 5 times in the Bible. 3 times in Proverbs, 1 time in Genesis, and 1 time in Revelation. The beginning, the end, and in the middle. The tree of life was in the middle of the Garden of Eden, and it represents eternal life, being, fullness of life, absolute satiation of the deepest desire. But we know that the tree of life was lost by humankind, because there was an angel there with his sword sweeping back and forth, not allowing anyone to go there to meet or to be able to take from the fruits of the tree of life. The New Testament says that Jesus died, as we sang before. He died on a tree. It wasn't a tree, it was a cross. But 3 authors in the New Testament, Luke, Peter, and Paul, says that they hung him on a tree, he was nailed on a tree, he died on a tree. Have you ever wondered about that? What does it mean? A tree. I want to
Slowly. Yeah. Are you going in?
our meeting. In the Garden of Eden, God comes to Adam and Eve and says, "Obey me about the tree. Don't eat it, and you will live forever." What they do? What did they do? They didn't. Centuries later, Jesus comes into another garden, the Garden of Gethsemane. And God comes to Jesus and says, "Obey me about the tree." What did he do? He did. But look at the difference. You see, to the first Adam, God said, "Obey me about the tree and you will live." But to the second Adam, to Jesus, God said, "If you obey me and go to the tree and go to the cross and do what I'm asking you to do, you will not live, but you will die. You will be crushed. You will be crushed in spirit. You will be crushed in body. You will be crushed eternally." And Jesus did it for us. See, the cross was a tree of death for him, a death. But because he climbed the tree of death, we have the tree of life. The tree of life that we lost in the same garden. Do you see what Jesus did for me and for you? For all of us, actually. The only eyes in the universe who can see me and can see your broken spirit are God's eyes through Jesus Christ.
He's the only one who can truly understand you. He's the only one who can accompany you wherever you go. He's the only one who can feel and heal your broken spirit. You can find this God. You can find this healing at the tree of life. This is the only place. This is the solution for a broken spirit. This is the remedy. This is the recipe for healing a broken spirit, the tree of life. See you there, my brother. Amen. Amen.